close your eyes, and imagine that time has stopped for a moment, that the noise of the outside world has faded, as if the universe itself were holding its breath just to listen to what's inside you. Maybe, for a brief instant, you feel the weight of a question you never knew how to answer. Why does everything feel out of control? Why, despite all your effort, does a part of life keep slipping through your fingers, like sand that refuses to be held? Maybe you believed it was destiny, or genetics, or perhaps some kind of cosmic bad luck that always seems to choose the same people. Maybe you've heard over and over that certain things just weren't meant for you until you started repeating it to yourself, like an automatic whisper without noticing. But what if that sense of powerlessness isn't truth, but a program? Bruce Lipton, a biologist who crossed the borders between science and spirituality, dismantles this illusion with a clarity that feels like an embrace. He shows us that we are not prisoners of our genes. We are architects of our biology. Genetics are only the starting point. What shapes your body, your emotions, and even what you attract are the signals your mind emits every single moment. Your cellular environment listens to what you believe, not to what you desperately wish for, but to what you hold as your silent truth. Think of your body as an extraordinary computer, a powerful hardware ready to execute complex functions. But no matter how amazing the system is, it still responds to the software that's installed. And that software is your mind. The most curious, and sometimes painful realization, is that many of the programs you're running weren't even chosen by you. They were installed in your earliest years of life, inherited, repeated, reinforced over and over again. Joe Dispenza calls this your vibrational signature. Every thought, every repeated emotion creates a trail in the brain, and that trail becomes an energetic pattern. And that pattern is what the universe listens to. It's the frequency your life broadcasts, even in silence. That's why wishing for a new reality with pretty words is not enough. If your inner signature is still radiating fear, scarcity, or unworthiness, that's exactly what the field around you will return. And then comes the question that changes everything. If my mind is creating this, who is programming my mind? Maybe you've tried it all. Affirmations in the mirror, visualizations before sleep, silent promises that this time will be different. Yet deep down, something remains the same. Reality refuses to move, as if it were stuck inside. Then comes frustration, doubt, the fear that maybe something is wrong with you, but it isn't. According to Bruce Lipton, up to 95% of your life is being run by subconscious programs installed before the age of 7. 7 years. Enough time to record beliefs, fears, sensations that were never truly yours, but started living within you. And no matter how much your conscious mind desires a new reality, it's the autopilot that's in control. The subconscious is like a hidden scriptwriter, writing your life based on old stories you don't even remember hearing. That's why so many attempts at change fail, because what manifests is not a random wish. It's the belief engraved in the body. It's the vibration that repeats when no one is watching. It's that quiet sense of unworthiness, that bitter expectation that something will go wrong, even when everything seems fine. And the body listens. The energy responds. The universe reflects it back. There is a subtle but powerful mechanism of energetic self-sabotage. It activates when the conscious mind wants something, but the subconscious associates that desire with pain, danger, or rejection. It's like wanting love, but fearing surrender, wanting prosperity, but feeling guilty when receiving, wanting change, but vibrating insecurity. The inner conflict creates outer stagnation, but there is a way, and it begins with conscious emotional repetition. When you align felt emotion with true words and a present body, something begins to shift. Because the subconscious doesn't learn through logic, it learns through emotion, through repetition, through coherence between what you feel, think, and live. That's the point where true reprogramming begins, not as effort, but as a reunion with who you were before all this. A tension settles into the body, even when everything seems calm on the outside. A tight chest, a shortened breath, a sense that something is about to collapse for no apparent reason. And you go on, living, functioning, but inside, on alert, as if your body has forgotten what peace feels like. This is the biological signature of fear. Bruce Lipton explains that our cells don't just exist in a physical environment, they feel what you feel. And when your mind lives in threat, doubt, or anxious expectation, your body switches into survival mode. The autonomic nervous system, meant to flow between rest and action, gets locked in fight or flight. And in that state, there's no creation, no healing, no conscious manifestation, only defense. Cortisol, the stress hormone, begins to dominate your inner landscape. What started as a worrying thought becomes a vibrational block. Because in a state of alert, your energetic field contracts, and a contracted field does not manifest. It repels, it closes doors, even when you're begging for new opportunities. Bruce calls this the biology of love versus the biology of fear. When you live in love, gratitude, and trust, your body opens, your cells grow, regenerate, cooperate. But when you live in fear, they shrink, they protect. And everything inside you functions only to survive, not to thrive. Gregg Braden reminds us that the heart has its own electromagnetic field, and that true gratitude, when deeply felt, reorganizes this field. It makes it coherent, cohesive, powerful. The heart becomes a high-frequency transmitter, and that state is what transforms reality. But there's a subtle trap, waiting for something good to happen while the body is still vibrating as if it's at war. Because the universe doesn't respond to what you hope for, it responds to what you are now. And if now you still live in defense, in doubt, in quiet tension, that is what echoes through your field. Healing begins when the body feels safe, when it doesn't just hear that everything will be okay, but when it actually feels that, in this moment, it is safe enough to breathe deeply and open space for the new. Often without realizing it, we try to control everything: thoughts, emotions, people, the timing of events, as if control could give us security, as if mastering the external could compensate for the insecurity inside. But the more we try to force reality to fit our desire, the more it slips away, and the stronger the vibration of lack becomes. This unconscious need for control usually comes from old wounds, moments when we felt powerless, abandoned, betrayed, unprotected, and in response we built an inner system saying, "I must make sure this never happens again." But when control becomes an emotional habit, it doesn't create freedom, it creates tension, and all tension vibrates fear. Through emotional epigenetics, Bruce Lipton shows us that the inner environment you cultivate directly shapes your biological field. Emotions are not invisible, they are biochemical. Recurring thoughts turn into chemical reactions. And those reactions inform every cell about the vibrational state you live in. A toxic inner environment, made of judgment, rigidity, demand, perpetuates an outer reality that simply mirrors that pattern. And then, the paradox: the more you try to control, the more you declare, energetically, that you are lacking, that something is wrong, that you cannot trust. And what is emitted is what returns. What is vibrated is what manifests. The universe doesn't understand effort, it understands coherence. That's why one of the most powerful practices is to reframe not knowing. Instead of treating the unknown as danger, treat it as fertile ground, a creative void, a space where the new can arise, not by force but by permission. This surrender is not passivity, it's vibrational wisdom. It's when the soul says, "I don't know how, but I trust what I am vibrating right now." Neville Goddard reminds us with precision, the feeling precedes the manifestation. Trust is not a mental act, it's an embodied experience. It's when you align internally with what you desire, not as if asking, but as if already living it, feeling before seeing. That's the key that transforms reality, without forcing it. There's a language the subconscious understands, and it doesn't speak in logic or promises. It speaks in symbols, in sensations, in rituals that touch both body and soul. Because to reprogram the mind, repeating generic phrases isn't enough. You must create inner experiences that are felt as truth. Vibrational rituals are much more than repeated gestures. They are anchors, portals of reconnection. When done with intention and real emotion, they become profound tools of transformation. Because the subconscious doesn't open by force, it opens with presence. And when you repeat, day after day, a sacred act, with your body involved, your heart present, and your emotion aligned, something begins to move in the unseen. You can, for example, create a vibrational environment that mirrors the reality you want to live. Wake up and touch an object that represents abundance. Light a candle and imagine its flame dissolving old fears. Place your hands on your chest and breathe as if you were already living in trust. The form doesn't matter. What matters is the felt intention. Neuroplasticity confirms your brain changes through repetition, emotion, and imagery. But not just any image. The image must be meaningful. It must come from within, like a memory of the future already being written in the now. And when that image is felt as real, the body responds. The field vibrates. Reality begins to adjust. There's a true story of a woman who lived for years trapped in scarcity patterns. Nothing changed, despite meditations and prayers, until she began a sensory ritual for 30 days. Every morning she lit a candle, breathed deeply, and touched the earth with her hands, giving thanks as if she had already received everything she needed. She didn't recite generic phrases. She felt it. Over time, her body believed. Her vibration shifted, and then reality answered. Bruce Lipton is clear. The subconscious learns by repetition, not by logic. Repeat with soul, repeat with presence. Repeat until the new program is no longer just an idea, but a state of being. A new field of frequency that begins inside and echoes outward. You are not trapped. You never were. Even if at times life has seemed like a maze with no exit, the truth is the key has always been inside. Quiet, vibrating, waiting for you to notice. Your mind is not just creating random thoughts, it is broadcasting commands, biological, energetic, vibrational, every moment, like an invisible radio station transmitting your frequency to the field around you and receiving back the song that's playing within you. If you tune into anger, scarcity, or unworthiness, it doesn't matter how much you desire the opposite. What will play is what you're broadcasting now. Bruce Lipton gives us a revelation that is not only scientific, it's liberating. You can be the conscious engineer of your biology. You can rewrite your inner codes. You can choose which frequency will feed your cells, your heart, your reality. Change is not in the world. It's in how you vibrate within it. Joe Dispenza affirms, it's not a random thought that creates the future. It's your state of being, and a state of being is body, mind, emotion, and soul in coherence. When you live what you desire before you see it, the universe recognizes and responds. But none of this begins with haste. It begins with presence, with courage, with the willingness to look honestly at what you're vibrating right now. Not to judge, but to choose, because until you change the frequency, the melody of your life will remain the same. And what if your pain is actually the beginning of your light? If this message quietly touched something inside you, if some part of your soul felt seen, understood, awakened, leave in the comments, I choose to rewrite my vibration. This is not just a gesture, it's a turning point. An energetic yes. And if this video resonated with you, share it, not as someone passing on information, but as someone offering a map to another soul searching for the way back home. Because you are not alone. The universe is listening, and the frequency has already begun to change.